I will try to keep it's Calicat the Calicaster, and I'll try to keep my reviews of Loki briefer than the other ones to ramble on. Uh, I tend to ramble on, so try to be briefer and not throw in as much. Oh, seems like a Calicaster. Doesn't seem as much like a Calicaster. This reminds me of this is called Glorious Purpose, and this is the premiere of Loki, and it reminds me more of like an they say it's Kafka-esque, but it reminds me of Brazil more than anything. That film Brazil, Terry Gilliam kind of thing going on. There's Owen Wilson and but yeah, Owen Wilson would have been more like from that other guy, but he, Tara Strong and of course Tom Hiddleston in the title role. So we have the story is an alternate universe, sideways universe from the beginning, where Loki from Endgame, who took the Tesseract and jumped through time, he ends up taken to the desert, and then he's captured in the desert by the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. It's from the comics, and he's taken to this bizarre otherworld like perdition place that's like a business in the middle of this like massive city somewhere, city state thing, reminiscent of a cross between Brazil and Isaac Asimov's Foundation. It's bizarre sort of 50s-esque slash 80s stuff elements, spycraft things, old computers, click buttons and push buttons and phones and things, and old looking elevators from like the 40s or 50s that have been retrofitted. A lot of weird sort of funky Brazil things. Yeah, old Cold War stuff everywhere. Fun for that. Right away, the series is going to be weird, strange. It's very reminiscent of some of the those flicks. Not as much a Calicat thing. It's more like an X-Files but Marvel style. Sort of X-Files and a little bit of gives you a little hint about the Eternals as well, which is another group. But so we have this sort of sideways universe series. I think it's going to be in 6 parts. This is part 1, and they take him to the be put on trial. And he encounters all these weird things, and he encounters Owen Wilson's character, who is like a sort of a lawyer, counsel lawyer, like that kind of lawyer. Yeah, and he asks him about his purpose and stuff, and shows him stories of his life, all It's a Beautiful Wife, and a number of other things, things that he's done and whatever. From the trailer, the stab in the back thing, that line is apparently later. But yeah, he's it's, so he discovers that in the other timeline, through the course of the story, spoilers I guess, that in the other timeline he dies, Thanos kills him, and this timeline he's a variant and he's still alive. So, but there's in another part of the sideways timeline, these other characters there's another version of him out there killing people, and they imply at one point that he is the escaped airplane, the famous up north airplane jumper guy that jumped out the cargo bay of the plane, a lot of money, years ago. He's supposed to be that guy, allegedly, which goes along with the about 2 years ago, the Ancient Aliens people talking about that guy, the airplane jumper guy from the 70s who did that. They later found evidence of the money in the woods and never found him. So, the money made it to the ground. We don't know if he did. But yeah, this is and it's from space. Apparently, he's a space god, space demigod. Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah. So space doing it. So it yeah, it was actually pretty good. The first pilot was that was fine. It's just quirky and weird enough, and magical enough that it goes along those lines. And Tom Hiddleston, of course, and Owen Wilson are chewing scenery, and we get to see Tara Strong in a performance where she's not playing a cartoon character. She's actually in the movie. That's kind of funny. Yeah, so she's actually in the movie, like just like doing that as an actor, as a cartoon voice. Calicat does a lot of his parodies as a cartoon voice, but mainly see him, so it's the reverse. No, but yes, yeah, there. I didn't notice any outstanding scene involving Calicat this time around. Cowpoke was up to something during the story, so maybe he's going to show up eventually. I don't know. We'll see. So, but not this episode. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. It's real brief. I just wanted to go over the pilot episode. I thought of it. It already says what it is. It explains it's Kafka-esque. Cold War. I've already said that. It's certainly weird. Yeah. So, there.